Everybody. I'm here live with Matt Brooks, the founder of Tuipoint, who are currently equity crowdfunding through Pledge Me. So they are over 23% to their $100,000 equity minimum target. So congratulations on that so far, Matt. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Emma, the marketing manager here at Pledge Me. We've been around for almost 8 years, and we've helped over 8 years, sorry, and we've helped fund over 1,500 campaigners for the things that they care about, and one of them at the moment, that's Tuipoint as well. So in this live, we'll be asking Matt some pre-written questions that we have for him about his equity crowdfunding campaign. But if anyone watching has any questions, please feel free to pop them in the comments and we'll address them at the end of the live. So let's get straight into it. Matt, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit, tell us a little bit about your background, as well as how Tuipoint came to be.
Okay, I grew up and was educated in Taranaki in New Plymouth in New Zealand, and I sort of went from there off to university and then sort of carried on and then sort of headed over to the UK and got involved in real estate. Which is a high pressure job, and most of all, it is all about personal appearance. So I spent a lot of time in barbershops, having to, make sure I was very presentable for meetings that I had to occur to take on new properties and also show people properties I was selling. So I found a lot of my time was sitting in these barbershops waiting to get a haircut, anywhere up to 2 hours. And I was just thinking, there's got to be a better way better way to do this rather than having to sit here not knowing how long your time was going to be. And in my situation, it was actually costing me money sitting there. So I actually became really good friends with one of the barbers in a place called Leighton Buzzard in the UK. And we just, over a few beers, sort of sat down and said there's got to be a better way of queuing customers, because as a male, we don't like to pre-book stuff. We sort of wake up in the morning and say, right, I need a haircut today. And off you go and just sit in a barbershop and waiting for your turn. So we just sort of sat down and said, right, how can we work something out better than this? And then I just sort of took the idea and actually retrained myself to develop and started on the journey to work out a way of putting together a virtual queuing system. And that's how Tuipoint evolved.
Okay. So users can also see at the moment some of the screenshots from Tuipoint as well, and if they visit the equity crowdfunding campaign, they can also check that out. So I would encourage users to do that who are watching now. So you mentioned that that was obviously in the UK where it sort of started, the idea, everything like that. So you've been testing it over there, as well as in the New Zealand market with barbershops. And how has that been going? What has the reaction been from customers, from app users?
Okay, well, like a lot of products that evolve over time, not all businesses are the same in feedback, suggestions, requests. In fact, any idea has been thoroughly investigated, implemented, where the benefits are seen. So basically, we just took this idea. I found that in the UK, because the English, they just love to queue. So they're, it's just part of their daily routine. So I just said to myself, right, let's try. The great thing with Kiwis is that they will give you honest feedback. They will tell you why they won't use something, and they will tell you also the good and the bad about anything. Whereas the English, they will just not use something. They won't tell you why, they just won't use it. So that's why we opted to actually start mainly testing in New Zealand shop called Jet Charm in New Plymouth, Taranaki. We sort of approached them and we sort of formed a really good bond where the only way that this product was really ever going to make real traction was to actually get involved literally in the day-to-day runnings of a barbershop. Because, as a customer, you see yourself, you walk in there, you sit down, you wait, but you don't actually know how the whole engine room works of a barbershop. So you need to understand from the minute the barber gets there to the minute the barber leaves there and everything in between. So we worked very, very closely with 10 barbershops, fully testing, because every single barbershop's slightly different as well. When you've got a front of house, it's a little bit different. When you've got barbers who don't have, front of house, they've just 2 or 3 in there and all they do is sort of cut hair all day and try and slip in lunch times and try and finish on time. So we just worked with all these different barbers in different situations until we found that we had a product which the barbers loved and then ultimately the customers loved. And that, unfortunately, it's a time thing. It just takes time. You can't, design something or develop something on a computer and then just hopefully it will work in the real world. That's where a lot of, these sort of tech ideas that I can see can fall down, is because they just assume it's going to work. Whereas it's all about testing when it comes to with virtual queuing. We found it's all about testing and and also not reinventing the wheel. So we were trying to just give the customer the opportunity to use another service. We weren't reinventing the wheel. You still woke up in the morning, you still decided that you wanted a haircut, and you just, instead of actually physically sitting there now, you just went into an app, selected a service, you got told the time, it then sends you a notification, you then turn up and get your haircut. So you're just ultimately getting your time back.
Yeah, that makes sense. And can you tell us actually, what was your most surprising find when you were working with these barbers? What was something that really, just surprised you?
I guess it was sort of the mentality of the barber, is how they would, literally just carry on and carry on and carry on like a machine. And, just to keep their customers happy, to make sure that, that customer who's sitting there had a great experience in the respect of, even though they were sitting there, like over in the UK, you can sit here up to two hours in a barbershop waiting to get a haircut. It's just crazy. However, the experience that they tried to give you, in some cases, was, way more than you would expect going to a barbershop. In other cases, you'd sit there going, oh my God. But that seems to be, to me, that, they would ultimately do beyond to make sure the customer had a great experience. However, you could see as it got towards the end of the day, when they wanted to go home at 5 o'clock and they turn around, there's still 6 people there at 5 o'clock. You can see that, they'd had enough and they wanted to go home. So what we were noticing was that the haircut quality started to go down as well. So, let's just get this guy cut now. So we felt by introducing this technology, it also improved the whole experience for, obviously, ultimately the customer, but the barber. Because now the barber started at 9 and finished at 5 and he got a lunch break. Whereas typically they didn't get that, or they got a lunch break at 4 o'clock or just before, probably not 4 o'clock, they had to have it early because it was just before the lunch rush, school run, and then after work run. It was just trying to get, in between all those little runs. Whereas now, the big thing that this app has done for a barbershop is that their day is now consistent. So they start at 9 and finish at 5, but it's consistently busy all day long. There's no ultimately the busy Saturday or the busy Friday or the busy Thursday, Monday to Saturday or Monday to Sunday is pretty much the same. You could turn around to any of our shops now and say, what day's your busy day? And they won't be able to tell you that because it's just the same now. And for a business, and anyone who's run and owned a business, to get a consistency like that is just the ultimate dream.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can imagine also not having to have that added pressure of somebody waiting there, because it's sort of hard to ignore the customers, so I can definitely see how it could improve that.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest stress for a barber is seeing that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's move on to a big win that Tuipoint has recently had, and that's that you've signed an MOU with the UK company Stackup. Can you tell us a little bit more about this company and what this agreement means for Tuipoint?
Okay. We signed some head of agreement with Stackup, which is a UK company which have designed and patented a awesome cup, reusable cup, which they are promoting in stadiums and festivals, which enables you to be able to apparently carry up to 45 drinks.
Wow.
But as their record apparently. However, one of their slogan is it speeds up queue times. So, it sort of made the perfect fit for us. I was introduced to the global managing director of Stackup, and then we've just over time built a great relationship and worked together to form a partnership where together we can form the ultimate waiting experience. And the fact that you can now join the queue from your seat in the stadium, choose the drink you want, pay for it, wait, and then get a note, continue watching your sport event or whatever you're doing at your stadium, get a notification of your drinks will be available in X amount of time, and then a final notification to please come and get them now. So all of a sudden you're not having to stand and wait, missing sport events, or stand and wait at half time trying to get drinks and refreshments, etc. You've got the ultimate experience that you can continue to watch a game and technically just go up and just grab it when it's your turn, rather than standing there not knowing how long your wait's going to be. So it's very exciting for us, and it's very exciting for Stackup, because now they believe that they're going to be able to provide the ultimate experience of being able to buy refreshments at a festival or in a stadium environment, which is awesome for everyone, ultimately the customer. And at the end of the day, for the festival organisers and the stadium owners, I mean, we've all been at stadiums and we've turned around, looked at the queues and said, stuff that, So, whereas now, I can see there's going to be an increase, up to 20% revenue for these businesses, because the customer now knows that they can just queue through a virtual queuing app, which is awesome for everyone.
Yeah, no more halftime rushes in the future.
Exactly, yeah. And God, over here it's 80,000 people stadiums. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Whereas in New Zealand with 30,000, 40,000, you're like, oh, holy cow! But double that, it's just a nightmare. So
yeah,
it's a win-win for everyone. It really is. So it's a very, very exciting opportunity, and we're looking forward to, as COVID eventually, hopefully, starts to die away, that's really take off.
Well, definitely in this part of the world, it's starting to calm down. So
Yes.
hopefully on your guys' side as well. And just for anyone watching, if you want to learn more about Stackup, I believe there's a link that you posted on your campaign.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so just go check that link out. Can you tell us a little bit more about your equity campaign in terms of where the funds will be going and what sort of aspirations you hope to fulfill with the support from your crowd?
Okay. Well, we're looking to ultimately use the money for sales and marketing. So we've got, well, we're building quite a big presence on social media. We find that social media in the sectors that we're dealing with, social media seems to be the foremost for promoting to all the businesses that we're involved with. So we're pushing a lot of money into social media, and also we're looking to build start with a small sales team to help follow up with those inquiries we're getting and to help answer questions, and even especially certainly in the barber sector, is they're very busy people, and when they're not working, they obviously want to relax with their families and enjoy life apart from having to work. So we're going to use these guys to try and slip in there and be able to be in a position where you're not taking up these barbers' times, these nail salons' time, valuable time. Every time they stop, they're not making money. So between the social media and our sales team marketing, we've hopefully come up with a great strategy where we can get all the information out there, everything they need to know, all the point of calls that they can go to find out information, and ultimately back up with our sales guys if need be. So that's where most of our money's going, and then a tiny, probably I think it's about five maybe 10% of it is going to go back into development also. I mean, with any technology, you have to keep up with the trend. You have to keep developing. We're developing all the time. We're forever getting inquiries about, could you do this? What about if you can do that? So we have to follow every single inquiry up to make sure it's viable. Obviously, we can't do everything. If one sector wants this and another sector wants this, we've got to actually weigh it up and see if it makes sense. So yeah, that's our priority right now, and to basically just push it on the marketing front.
Okay, great. And you briefly mentioned there nail salons, because you're also looking to expand into other sectors. Can you tell us which sectors are next up for Tuipoints?
So we're in the beauty sector as such. So barbers, nail salons. So those are the two we're in right now. We also do coffee shops. Okay. So we help with queuing people to get their morning coffees or lunchtime coffees. We're also going into stadiums and festivals. We've been working with a big company in the UK also, where we're looking to queue people going for WAFs or MOTs in the UK. So going to get your warrant of fitness in New Zealand. Oh, okay. So instead of having to line in your car in a queue and wait for God knows how long, same concept, join a virtual queue, and you'll get a notification when it's your turn to turn up and get your warrant of fitness. We've had a lot of good feedback also with servicing and repairs. So we've got since COVID, we've had a lot of inquiries of where virtual queuing could be used. Also, we've been pushing also in the medical sector, so getting behind with helping with vaccines, also helping with COVID testing. I've seen it in New Zealand where 50 cars in a line, and it must be awful just having to go to a testing station, let alone not knowing how long you're going to be sitting in your car waiting for your test. So once again, using that same technology you can wait at home join a queue, and 10 minutes before it sends you a notification, right, jump in your car and head down and get your COVID test. So we've basically, those are the sectors that we're concentrating on right now. However, we're always getting inquiries, what about, have you thought about this, have you thought about that? But it's just, I've always been a strong believer in, concentrating on what we set out to do, and that was to give the ultimate customer experience. So if we're sort of falling off the wayside there, then we sort of have to bring everything back in and just make sure that's what we're here to do, is give the ultimate customer experience.
So get the very basics perfect and then see how you can expand out, basically.
Absolutely. Once you've got that basic model sorted, which we have, which has taken a lot of time. I mean, it's taken us just over 2 years to get right. You can't, that's the problem with anything in life, unfortunately. You can't just develop something in a computer environment and just hope it's going to work. All the things that you thought or didn't think of always arise, and that takes time to sort out.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to come back to, because we had a question a bit later on that we had written down for you, but I just want to continue with this, that you mentioned COVID and vaccines, waiting in vaccine lines, etc. So beyond these more practical things, how relevant do you think your app could be in a post-pandemic world where, people are adapting to a new normal, or maybe they are more conscious of social distancing? Have you had some feedback around that?
Yes, I mean, that's the thing. We sort of set out to, I guess, as a time-saving app. That's what we set out to produce, was an app that could get your time back. When we sat down and worked it out, when we were looking at the barber world, we worked out that you were spending, I think it was a 40-year-old, you're spending like 400 and something hours sitting in a barber shop.
Wow. So,
when you sit down and work that out and put that into days, it's just phenomenal. And the anxiety, sitting there, we've all done it. We sort of walked into that barber shop and we sat there and gone, right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in front of me. And you sort of look at them and at their haircut and you go, right, how long is that going to take? And you start working it out, and it's just, and you're looking at your watch and you're going, wow, how long am I going to be here? Have I got time to be here? So, that's what we set out to do, and was to get the customer his time back. And so, I mean, you look at post-COVID and you sort of say to yourself, okay, we still want to accomplish that goal. But the great thing is, with this app, it also solves social distancing as well. There's no more crowded waiting rooms, because we're all like that now. Wherever we walk into now, we're like looking around and making sure no one's coughing or sneezing or whatever it is, and you're sort of looking at everyone twice, and you haven't got that anxiety anymore, because the crowds aren't there. With this app, they're just not there. That whole crowd can be managed through this app. So, and if you look at it, the other side of the coin, from a business environment, they can now see how their business is going. They can actually see what they've got on for that day, and they know they can actually prepare in advance. That's a great thing about going back to the barbering, or going back to the coffee, or going back to the nail salon. That barista, or the barber or the technician now knows the service that customer's getting when they're coming in. So it's a win-win for everyone. You can't see any negatives about it. You just can't see how this is a negative as far as a customer, and even as far as a barber or a nail technician. So it's just, I just every day will wake up and say to myself, how can anyone not use this in their business, if it's going to make their life a lot easier and going to make their customers walk away going, that experience was awesome. And it's just that transition, like anything in the world, it's a transition. And, you know, everyone is having to go through a transition now with post-COVID. You know, the new norm, everyone keeps saying it's going to get back to normal and all the rest of it, but what is normal now? That's what we've got to keep saying to us. What is normal? Is normal now, you know, technology and, you know, using these QR, you know, to trace everyone, what their movements, to virtually queue people, to, you know, click and collect. Is this the new norm now? So it's one of those things, isn't it? It's just adapting to what's going on.
Absolutely. I'll just remind the audience, for everyone watching, if you have any comments for Matt, I'm here with Matt Brooks of Tuipoint. He's talking about his equity campaign, so if you have any questions, just pop them in the comments so we can get to them at the end of the live. So you were talking a little bit before about the development of your app as well. And something that really interested me at least when I was reading through your information memorandum was geofencing technology, because I hadn't really heard of this before. So I've obviously heard of, or can you tell us a little bit more, at least in the queuing app sense, in the smart queuing app, how does this work and how will it improve everything?
Okay, geofencing. So basically, it's a technology where we can pinpoint your. If we look at the easiest way to explain this is if we look at a coffee shop scenario. Okay, with a coffee, you want to turn up and get a hot coffee. You don't want to turn up and get a cold coffee. Okay, in my case, I actually like them quite cold, but in a normal scenario, you want a nice warm coffee or a nice hot coffee. So with geofencing technology, what we can do is put a point on that business and then set a radius out from the business of allowing the business to know when a customer gets to a point en route to their business. So it gives them like a heads up, right, they're on their way, and now they've got to a point which they could predetermine how long that takes them from that point to get to the business and how long it takes to make a coffee. So they could say, right, it takes us 30 seconds to make a coffee, so let's put our geofencing radius point at that point, so when that customer breaks it, oh, yep, we've got 30 seconds before they're going to be here. So it's a great way of notifying business owners that that customer is about to turn up. And if you look at a barbershop scenario, it will be used for like a check-in. So because we've got screens up, so effectively the barber can look up and see that Matt has turned up. So it's a great way of actually building a great rapport with your customer, because everyone loves it when someone turns around and goes, "Good morning, Matt, how are you today?" You look, wow, he knows my name. How does he know my name? So we all love that rapport with people, you know, when we walk into any business and they know your name. So it allows them to build that rapport with their customers also. And yeah, so that it's just going to give a point of call to the business owners that their customer is either on site or is just about to be on site. So it's just going to be able to give a peace of mind that they're on their way and they're expecting their service to be happening right now.
So as a customer, I'm going to order via the app, I'm going to walk over there, just arrive, someone's going to hand me my coffee, say, "Here's your coffee, Emma, have a lovely day," and I just leave like that. Payment already done, everything done.
Exactly. So especially in the coffee side of things, it gives them, you know, they know you're going to be, you know, you're on your way and you're expecting a nice hot coffee. So it just gives that it's basically what we do, or what I spend my day doing, is improving the customer experience. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, is every time someone uses Tuipoint, we want them to ultimately walk away from it saying, that was an awesome experience. Okay, everyone has to work as one. We're all a team at the end of the day. Ultimately, that barbershop and Tuipoint together, or that nail salon, or that coffee shop, whatever the business is, we all work together as a team. So if we can turn up to that business and walk away going, wow, that was awesome, then we've all done our job. And that's ultimately what we're here to do. We're not here to reinvent the wheel. We're just here to ultimately give just the best customer experience.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It sounds like a great customer experience. So,
What is it?
Sorry. I was just going to say, I have my next question here for you. So obviously there's a lot of people involved in this, the whole team at Tuipoint, a lot of barbers, all the customers. So you have a very big community of people around Tuipoint, which leads me to the next question of how did you first of all hear about equity crowdfunding? And why did you choose this route? Was it because of this big community, or was it for other reasons?
Well, how do we hear about crowdfunding? I mean, I think crowdfunding was always there. It was always in the background. It's just something, I guess, you just stumble upon or hear of other businesses or companies out there, who are looking to raise money. It's, through crowdfunding or coming through social media. It seemed to be, an option for us. So we sort of put, from the beginning, we, like anything in life, you sort of weigh up all the options that you have in front of you. We've also been approached by investors. I had also gone to seek investors. So, and then you just put everything on the table and just evaluate each situation and understand what your ultimate goal is with your company. Where are you looking to go? What are you looking to achieve? And how are you wanting to do this? And, we sort of all sat down as a team and we sort of all said to ourselves, wouldn't it be awesome to, allow the ordinary Kiwi to get involved? And at the same time, isn't this an awesome marketing venture for Tuipoint as well, getting the brand out there? Because, looking at Pledge Me, they've got their marketing avenues that they use, so there goes Tuipoint everywhere. We've got what we're using. Obviously, we're promoting it to our crowds, so there we go again. There's more brand awareness of Tuipoint. So it's sort of, the more we sort of weighed it up, the more it sort of made sense to, get involved with normal Kiwis and let them jump on this journey with us and see where it goes. I mean, we ultimately know where we want it to go, and we can see that light at the end of the tunnel. And the other beauty thing about crowdfunding to our situation as being a tech company and ultimately needing lots of customers, they can help us with feedback. So, like anything that I've ever invested in, you sort of, you want to get involved with it, even if it's only, testing it out or, using that product. So by having all these people getting involved with Tuipoint through a crowdfunding avenue, it meant that we had all of a sudden all these new testers for us, and ultimately they would tell their friends. So, if you had our goal to get, 50, 60, 100 people involved, then they tell one person, now we've got 200, etc., etc., etc. It just felt like it was the best way for us, and to still keep control of what we wanted to do as a company. Crowdfunding just made sense to us. We've got a plan where we want to go ultimately, and at this stage of our development, crowdfunding was the way we wanted to go. Yes, we will be looking at going venture capitalist or big investors eventually. However, right now, crowdfunding has just made a lot of sense to us.
Okay, thanks for that. So obviously, this also, like you talked about, putting a lot of things on the table, assessing all the options, and you have a lot of experience in different fields of entrepreneurship, in addition to looking into capital raising options. So if other people were looking to grow their businesses or start their businesses, what advice would you give to them? So what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs, having gone through the journey yourself?
Wow. Don't give up. I mean, that's probably the key here, is don't give up. If you've got a dream and you've got a goal, just push it, go for it. Give it your all. However, you've got to be prepared. You've got to be prepared for a lot of hard work. These things just don't happen overnight. I wish they did, but they don't. You really are giving up everything. In my experience, you're giving up. We set out to build a time-saving app. I feel like I've got no time at all. I need an actual app to manage my time. However, surround yourself with positive people. That's the key, really is. If you've got positive people around you, it's going to grow. You really are going to get it. You're going to go where you want to go. Also, listen to people. That's the key. Listen to your customers. Listen to the people you're working for. Listen to the people that you're building, whatever you're building, or developing services, product, whatever you're doing. These people that you're developing, whatever you're developing for, are ultimately the people who are going to be using it. So if they're giving you feedback and saying, "Nah, this doesn't work," or "that doesn't work," then you've got to listen to them, because if you don't, you're going to trip up eventually. That's the key to any entrepreneurial drive, I believe, is if you listen to your feedback, you can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong, because if you're prepared, because a lot of us, we put our blinkers on and we know where we want to go, and people are telling you, no, you need to do this, no, you need to do that. And look, we all do it. No, I know where I want to go, and that's what I want to do. And as soon as you stop and start listening to these people around you, you will find you'll get to your end goal a lot quicker, a lot cheaper, and ultimately you will achieve what you set out to do. And that's the advice that I would give anyone, if anyone asks me about the journey of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's really great advice, actually. Thanks for that. So apart from pledging, because you still have, we have 8 days left on your pledging, on your campaign. You're over 23% funded now, but obviously you still need to reach that goal. So for people who may not be in a position to pledge, so obviously pledging is the best option as a Kiwi, to become a potential investor in your company. But if people are not in a position to pledge, how else can they support you to achieve your goals or to reach your targets?
Well, ultimately, tell everyone about Tuipoint. That's the ultimate thing, really, is the more people know about Tuipoint, the more that we can get out there, the more we can organically grow, and basically help the general people get their time back. I mean, let's get, as Kiwis, as Australians, as Poms, as humans, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, you still time is the ultimate thing in our lives. And if there's anything out there that can buy time back or give us our time back, then why wouldn't you be telling everyone about it? Because I tell you right now, I would be, and I have. I mean, my I gave this system to my barbershop. Just gave it to them because it meant to me that I knew whenever I needed a haircut, I could just open an app, join the queue. It didn't disrupt my day at all. Not in the slightest. You know, I need a haircut today. Open the app. Oh yeah, end of the queues at 11:30. I join the queue, carry on with my day, doing what I did, and then I get the notifications. Oh yeah, off I go to come back. You know, it was a 20-minute, half an hour stop.
Yeah.
And you know, you just can't. You can't beat that in my eyes. And that's not because I'm the founder and design and developer of this app. It's nothing to do with that. It's the fact that I know that I've got to do these things in life. I love a coffee. I know that I want to go and get a coffee, that it's going to take me an hour to go and do that. You sort of double think, you double think to yourself, oh, maybe I can't be bothered. Now that's all gone. That's gone. Yes, I will go and do it. Yes, I will go and do it because I can just go boom, 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 bump, join a queue, pay for it, turn up, get my coffee and walk out and off I'm gone, Okay, the socialising side of it might have gone now because you might have, stood there and had a chat with them and say, how you going and all the rest of it. However, it's all about getting Tuipoint's name out there, and let's give this experience to as many people on this planet as possible. And that's what I would tell any person out there who couldn't get behind us for whatever reason, or at least just mention it in a conversation with your mate next time. Did you hear about Tuipoint?
Yeah, or share it, on the socials,
social media. Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't underestimate how much power their voice has. So yeah, I would also really encourage anyone watching, if you love the concept of Tuipoint, to share it with people who may be interested, because it's definitely an interesting concept. So I'm just going to check for some questions now. So if any of the audience members watching has any questions, please pop them in the comments. And while I wait for that, I'm just going to show them your equity campaign. So you won't be able to see it on your screen, but I'm showing it now. So as you can see, you can come onto the equity campaign page. You can watch the pitch video. You can make a pledge as well. Make sure that you're logged in to do that. Additionally, there's some questions here which Matt can answer if you have any curiosities, any updates as well as the equity offer. And please be sure also to read the information memorandum. And there's plenty of information there for you. So if you have any questions at all, I'm going to check one more time for any comments or questions. And Matt, if anyone has any questions for you and your team, how can they get in touch with you?
The easiest way is either go to our website, tuipoint.com, or you can email me direct, matt@tuipoint.com.
All right, so you can email Matt directly if you have a question as well. So don't be shy. Final call to action. Take a look at the Pledge Me campaign if you are interested in the concept of Tuipoint, the smart queuing app, which has been successfully tested in 2 countries over the last 2 years as well. Read the information memorandum and share this campaign with anyone who you think might be interested. The minimum investment is $500. So thank you again for everyone watching, and thank you, Matt, for joining us as well today.
Thank you, Emma. Appreciate it.
Matt, he's in the UK at the moment. So what's the time there?
It's just gone 7:45 in the morning.
7:45 in the morning. So wow, thank you for joining us. Have a lovely day.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Bye.
See you later.
Okay.
So is that you?
Yep, so that's in.